And then I'm not bitter about your previous point in a past episode, but I do need to bring it up.
Okay.
That you don't need this movie to understand the Captain arc. I think everybody sort of knows Cap's origin. This is just an origin story. Now, I will say trilogies are treated very differently in the MCU. There are stories that happen in between trilogies that no other trilogy ever does. Batman doesn't do it. Indiana Jones doesn't do it. Harry Potter doesn't do it. Stories are enclosed and they stay within the confines of those developments. Marvel doesn't do that.
Yeah, you can't really watch Captain America 1, 2, 3 in succession and really understand what's happening.
You cannot. If you tried to, however, the logic that you purported in Batman for Batman Begins not being necessary also applies here. You have a second sophomore film, which is far superior and amazing. Honestly, it's my favorite MCU movie, The Winter Soldier, and that can connect pretty seamlessly to Civil War because you've set up the relationship dynamic, but you don't need the origin story to actually be a part of the trilogy.
Okay, but the reason that
There is no difference.
The reason that I think you do is that aside from a something in the 90s, a made for TV movie in the 90s that I'm not sure even addressed Captain America's origin, is we'd never seen it before. Before Batman Begins,
Now you sound like me.
We had 5 Batman movies, 3 animated series, and years, decades worth of comic books, novels,
Yeah.
Video games, all things that explained his origin. We had, if you went into Batman cold, you still probably would have heard of his origin based on all of the previous things. If you went into Captain America with no comic book knowledge, you would have no idea who he is or where how he became.
Spider-Man does this in Civil War. There's no origin. He just shows up.
Because we had 5, 6 movies previous and an entire animated series that tells us who Spider-Man was. So we didn't need an origin for him.
So what you're saying is if there's previous IP iterations of this, then we don't need origin stories.
When there's so much of it, like if they ever stop the MCU and they reboot and start from the beginning and they do Iron Man again, you don't necessarily need all of the growth of Tony Stark. There's gonna be likely there's at least 11, 12 years of Tony Stark's growth. I don't need him in a cave, him building a suit out of scraps, then him making another suit because he's super rich. I don't need it again.
Box of scraps!
With a box of scraps!
It's the same with Captain America. This was a great way to introduce the character's origin. I don't need another one of these. You could just tell me a story of Captain America set in modern times, and I'm ready to go. I don't need the World War II, the weakling turned into the Superman, the heroism and Boy Scoutness. I don't need any of it.